morning, everyone. It's 7:27, and we have a major story breaking at this hour. A 14-year-old girl kidnapped from her home by an intruder during the night in the Federal Heights area. KSL News Radio's Darcy Marchese is on the scene and joins us on the phone. Darcy, what's the latest?
A very tense and scary situation out here, Terry. We have a neighborhood that is in shock and active in trying to find this abductor. Here's what we know at this point. Detective Dwayne Baird with the Salt Lake City Police Department tells us that a white male entered a home out here through a window and took abducted 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart right out of her bedroom. Now, Smart's sister was also in that bedroom and was told by this abductor to sit there and not to tell anybody about this situation. So, unfortunately, the sister sat there in terror, waiting for her sister to come back. She didn't. So 2 hours later, she told her parents about the terrifying event of what happened at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, the suspect is described as a white male. He's about 5'8" tall with dark hair. He was also wearing a white jacket. No description of the vehicle at this point. What we could tell you about the little girl is she is 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart. She's about 105 pounds. She was last seen wearing red pajamas. And a very strange twist in this story, the abductor apparently let her put on shoes. She had said she didn't have any shoes on, so the abductor stopped and allowed her to put on some shoes before they left. Now, I've been talking to neighbors throughout the morning. They are in shock over this, just can't believe that something in their neighborhood has happened like this. They have been out in full force trying to find this little girl, looking for clues. There is the police department, of course, on scene here. They have been throughout the entire night. There are bloodhounds that are out canvassing this area. There's also a state helicopter that has been in the skies searching for this little girl. So far, no clues. We do not have a motive in this case. Do not know if there's any connection at all from the suspect to the family. The family has lived here for about 15 years, and neighbors tell me that this family is loved and respected and just can't believe something like this has happened to them. Terry?
Okay, Darcy Marchese, KSL News Radio reporting. Thank you very much. We'll have more on this story in 30 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim Johnson. It's 7:57. We have a major breaking story at this hour. A 14-year-old Salt Lake City girl has been abducted from her home in Federal Heights. She was taken by an intruder who entered her bedroom window sometime during the night. We have news specialist Coco Warner on the scene. What can you tell us, Coco?
Well, Kim, still a lot of unanswered questions about the kidnapping, but let me talk about what we do know. Police are still searching for 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart, as you mentioned, kidnapped from her Federal Heights home at about 2 a.m. this morning, taken apparently at gunpoint. The kidnapper apparently entered her bedroom. Now, joining me live is Detective Dwayne Baird from the Salt Lake City Police Department. Detective, if you could just walk us through the timeline of what you think happened.
We think at about 2 o'clock this morning, we have an individual who broke into the home up here, the home of our victim, went into one of the bedrooms and discovered the 14-year-old daughter of the family here. He pointed a gun at her, threatened her, and told her that he was going to take her. And at that point, she got out of bed and started to join him in the search that he was doing through the house.
I understand her younger sister was also in the room.
Her younger sister was in the room, her 9-year-old sister, and she was able to observe this individual when he turned a light on, but didn't get a full description of him. We have a partial description that he's about 5'8", wearing a tan or light-colored Levi jacket. He's wearing a white baseball cap, and he did have a small black handgun.
Let's also describe Elizabeth Smart.
Elizabeth Smart is about 5'6". She's 105 pounds, blonde hair, described as kind of lanky, long-legged. She was wearing a red satin pair of pajamas, short sleeve, but she was able to wear some shoes out of the house.
Have police come up with any kind of motives as to why this happened?
We have not come up with any motive at all. The family has no idea why this would happen up here in this neighborhood to their daughter. She's a well-liked student at school. She has friends that she associates with that wouldn't be involved or don't appear to be involved in anything like this. So at this point, we're very puzzled as to a motive.
So at what point is the search taking right now? Are there bloodhounds out, or what's going on?
Yes, we've had bloodhounds out for the last few hours. We've had we've been able to mobilize our field officers up here. Search and rescue from the sheriff's office is here. We've had the state helicopter in the air. Neighbors have gone door to door. Everyone is canvassing this area. We're up in the foothills, as you can see, and It's quite heavily wooded up here, but we've got all kinds of people out looking.
What would you recommend that people do, neighbors or just people around kind of to help the search?
If you see anything at all with the descriptions that we've given you and the picture that you have of her, let us know. If you've seen her in the area, wherever she may be. We're not exactly sure where this individual would have taken her or why. So if you have any indication or any information at all, certainly give us a call.
Thank you, Detective Dwayne Baird, joining us live. The neighborhood is in shock right now. It's just a puzzling case. Kim, back to you.
Coco, thank you very much. And again, we want to remind everybody we'll have the very latest information for you coming up today on Eyewitness News at noon. We'll send it back to the Today Show now.
Good morning, everyone. It's 8:26, and if you haven't heard yet, there is a statewide alert now for a kidnapper and the 14-year-old girl he abducted from her bedroom in Federal Heights. News specialist Coco Warner has been on the scene this morning. Coco, what's the latest?
It's a heartbreaking scene. We're live here at Christiana Street and Virginia Street. This has kind of become the command center. Police are still looking for 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart. She was taken from her home at 2 a.m. this morning. Now, apparently the kidnapper entered the home through the window. He took her at gunpoint. Also in her room was her 9-year-old younger sister who witnessed the whole scene, and she was told that Elizabeth would be harmed if she said anything, so she didn't say anything to her parents until about 4 a.m., and that's when they alerted police and the search started. I want to describe Elizabeth, if we can look at a picture of her. She's about 5'6", 105 pounds. She was last wearing red pajamas with short sleeves. You can see she has blonde hair. Also, we want to get out a description of the suspect, the kidnapper. Apparently a white Caucasian male with dark hair at about 5'8". He was last seen wearing a light jacket and a white cap. Police have no leads on any kind of car. Joining me live now is Tom Smart, the uncle of Elizabeth. And Tom, if you could just tell me, what has the family's reaction been?
Well, everybody's heartbroken and in shock right now. Basically, everybody's gathered here, both from Lois and Edward's family and a lot of close neighbors also. And everybody can, nobody can believe that this is actually happening. I know that Edward, I talked to him just a little while ago, and he's kind of racking his brain going, you know, who or what would have done this? And, you know, he's really just beside himself over the whole thing right now. I think the one thing is if the word did get out to the person to take this, this is just a beautiful, angelic little girl. She's 5'5", and if you thought of an angel, this is the girl that you would take, and please let this girl go.
How is the younger sister doing that witnessed the whole thing?
You know, she seems to be doing okay. I think better than the parents at this point, but I'm sure she's traumatized, and she's getting counseling, and she's down at the police office right now with her parents.
When and how did you receive the news?
About 4:15 in the morning, Edward called me and just said somebody's taken Elizabeth, and you know, of course in the morning I couldn't really believe that was true, and that's the same thing that happened to him when Mary Catherine came down. He said, oh no, that can't be, and he came down and looked around and then found that the window had been opened and that some apparently, or the worst fears were true.
Thank you so much, Tom, for joining us live. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Again, it's just a really heartbreaking and puzzling scene here. Police are still searching. Back to you, Kim. Or sorry, Terry.
Coco, have police addressed any possibility that the victim could have perhaps known the kidnapper?
No, the little girl that witnessed the scene, the 9-year-old, she didn't recognize him at all, and right now police aren't looking in that direction.
Okay, thank you very much. Coco Warner reporting. Appreciate that update. We will have more on this story throughout the morning as it develops, and we'll have the very latest for you today on Eyewitness News at noon. For now, I'm Terry Wood, Eyewitness News.
You're watching KSL 5. This is the #1 Eyewitness News Special Report.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Wood. If you haven't heard yet, there is a statewide alert now for a kidnapper and the 14-year-old girl he abducted from her bedroom in Federal Heights. She is 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart, 5'6" tall, 105 pounds, blonde hair, and last seen wearing red short-sleeve pajamas. According to police and family members, a man entered the home on Christiana Circle, that's about 4th North and 15th East, about 2 o'clock this morning. The girl was reportedly taken from her bedroom at gunpoint. Her 9-year-old sister was also in the room, and the kidnapper reportedly told her not to say anything or her sister Elizabeth would be harmed. The younger sister then did not notify her parents of the abduction until about 4 a.m., and that's when police were brought in. News specialist Stacy Butler has been on the scene this morning. Stacy, what's the latest now?
Well, Terry, unfortunately, we don't have any real updates. A massive search countywide is underway right now. I should tell you that Elizabeth, the young gal that was abducted, apparently, her father organized a neighborhood search here at 4 o'clock in the morning. Those people, neighbors, family, friends, went out through all canyon areas. They scoured Immigration Canyon, City Creek Canyon. They even went up into Parley's. Now, the 14-year-old was apparently abducted early this morning. Now, there's something that I want to point out that neighbors told me early this morning that is very interesting. There are two possible leads here. One is that the house is on the real estate market. People have been coming in and out of there to look at the home. That is a possible lead for suspects. Also, the home has been under construction. There are contractors, subcontractors that hired workers, and that is a possible lead. Joining me now this morning is Detective Dwayne Baird with Salt Lake City Police heading up this search, I should say. Detective Baird, what are some of these leads? Can you talk about them at all?
Well, of course, as you said, the house is on the market. There have been people through the home, prospective buyers, we hope, that have been through the home. We are looking into that through the real estate agents that have been here with them, as well as the construction workers. There was some remodeling being done in the home and in that neighborhood up there. So we're searching or looking for leads in those situations. Our detectives have actually asked for descriptions of those people who've been in the home the last several days or the last few weeks. And the descriptions of those people that have been in that home do not match the suspect at this point. However, that is not to say that we're not still looking for leads from those people.
Now, is it possible that this was someone known to the 9-year-old girl, or does her description and fact that she didn't recognize him point in another direction?
Well, she did. She says to us that she did not recognize him. She did not know who he was, and it did not appear as though her sister knew who he was. So, however, he was very calm in the way that he spoke to them. We don't have any leads as to possibly who this individual is.
Any updates on this search at this point?
Just that we've expanded the search into the foothills. As you can see, we've got about 75 law enforcement officers in search and rescue in the area. We're continuing the expansion of this search, and we'll do so as long as necessary for as much information and evidence as we can gather up here.
Obviously, this is a very difficult time for the family. Any word from them?
They're just very traumatized right now. They're in the home. There are extended family members there with them. They're all very saddened by this, as we are. The entire community up here is very affected by what goes on, as it would be in any community.
Thank you very much, Detective Baird, for joining us. There's one more thing I want to point out here this morning from speaking to neighbors, actually when it spoke to Elizabeth's Uncle Tom, who knows this home very well. Apparently, we're speaking about a kitchen. There's a kitchen window. Whoever broke in knew to go through the kitchen window, knew that there was not an alarm engaged at the time, knew to turn right, walk up several stairs, past the parents' bedroom, the bedrooms of 5 brothers and sisters, and walk right into Elizabeth's bedroom. Police are on the scene here, and we will keep you updated as the day continues. Reporting live from the scene on Federal Heights, I'm Stacy Butler. Now back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Stacy, for that update. Of course, this is a nightmare for any parent, and as Detective Baird said there, the family is traumatized by this kidnapping. Earlier this morning, we spoke with Tom Smart, the victim's uncle.
If you thought of an angel, this is the girl that you would take, and please let this girl go.
The victim, once again, 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart. She's described as 5'6", 105 pounds, with blonde hair and last seen wearing red short-sleeve pajamas. We will have hourly updates here on KSL Channel 5, and we'll break in with any update the minute that something breaks in this case. This for now, I'm Terry Wood, Eyewitness News.
You're watching KSL 5. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 5.
This is just a beautiful, angelic little girl. She's 5'5", and if you thought of an angel, this is the girl that you would take, and please let this girl go.
A family waits in agony for any sign of their 14-year-old daughter, who was snatched from the safety of her bedroom by a kidnapper. Good afternoon, I'm Nadine Wimmer.
And I'm Bruce Lindsay. Police and hundreds of volunteers are now in the 12th hour of the search for Elizabeth Smart. Her photograph has been circulated in 3 states. Here she is, blonde hair, about 5'6", with a long, lanky build. She was last seen wearing red pajamas.
According to police, she was taken from her bedroom at about 2 o'clock this morning by a man who awakened Elizabeth and her 9-year-old sister. The man reportedly had a gun and threatened both children. The frightened 9-year-old took more than 2 hours before she told her parents, who then called police.
Right now, the family and police department are preparing for a news conference in that Federal Heights neighborhood. Let's go to news specialist Stacy Butler right now to bring us up to date. Stacy?
Bruce and Deanie, the Salt Lake City mayor, Salt Lake City police chief, and Elizabeth's father, Edward, just approached the podium here. We understand they are going to address the media any moment. This has been an incredibly long day for search and rescue crews, unquestionably a much longer day for family members desperately hoping, waiting for any word, any sign from their 14-year-old daughter. We will go now as Salt Lake City Mayor Rocky Anderson addresses the meeting.
The way that we'll proceed this afternoon is that we'll first hear from Mayor Rocky Anderson. After he says a few things, then Chief Rick Dinsey will talk about the investigation. After Chief Dinsey's done, then we'll have Mr. Edward Smart, the father of the missing girl, speak to us. So we'll proceed that in that order. Mayor.
Mr. Smart, and to the Smart family, not only are the thoughts and the prayers of this entire community with you and your family, but we commit through everything we have and in partnership with federal law enforcement officers to do absolutely everything possible to return Elizabeth back to the safety and security of your home. Our police have taken every extraordinary measure possible, and we will continue to do that. And if the perpetrator is watching, we want him to know that he will be brought to justice, but that certainly he will fare better if he will demonstrate some semblance of compassion and return this young girl to her family. We will not stop until Elizabeth is returned to the Smart family, and we appreciate the very good work of the police, working with the FBI, and all those in this community who have stepped forward to help out in this investigation. We're offering at this point a $10,000 reward for information leading to the return of Elizabeth or to the arrest and conviction of the perpetrator of this crime. With that, I'll turn it over to Chief Dinsey, who will describe some of what's gone on in the investigation, and I hope that the media will understand that there are many facets of the investigation that are not going to be made public for obvious reasons, and I hope that you'll respect that. Thank you. Chief Dinsey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you're all aware of, this morning around 1 o'clock in the morning, Miss Elizabeth Smart was abducted from her residence at gunpoint. Since that time, and a notification to the police, which occurred later that morning, once the crime was discovered, we have committed all of the resources of this department to trying to find Elizabeth. We have brought in, the FBI has come in and is working closely with us. We have the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Department, Search and Rescue has been with us all day long, as well as the Utah Department of Public Safety and Highway Patrol. We've put out a Rachel alert, which I believe you're all aware of, and an all points bulletin throughout the state regarding this abduction. At this point, we've had about 100 people or more dedicated to searching for Elizabeth. We have a task force of investigators that have been put together and a phone bank, and I'd like to give some phone numbers out right now where people with information can call and pass on that information. The phone number in Salt Lake City is the Salt Lake City number of 799-3000, and we have a 1-800 number, which is 1-800-932-0190. Any information regarding this abduction and the location of Elizabeth is very much wanted. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Smart, who would like to make a few comments regarding his daughter.
Elizabeth, if you're out there, we're doing everything we possibly can to help you. We love you. We want you to come home safely to us. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take some questions now if you have any.
Chief Dinsey, can you talk about the notification? There's been some reports that the Rachel alert was somewhat delayed in getting information out. Is that true, and could have been better?
Well, I think it depends on what your definition of delayed is. First of all, we didn't get the actual information regarding the abduction until approximately 3 hours after the abduction had occurred, as it is now determined. From 4 o'clock, and then we did get the information about 3 hours later, as I am told. There was some delay at the station that organizes this at KSL, only in that they didn't have a technician, as I understand it. In any event, it was out as early as possible. And you also have to understand that we have to make a determination very, very quickly as to whether or not this warrants going out as a Rachel alert. And while in this case that was fairly easy to do, it still required some time. And it is the first time it was used, so we tried to make it work as quickly as possible. 3 hours is about the best we could do.
Chief, do you have any information on ransom and or reward?
At this point in time, we don't have any information that there's no ransom request that we're aware of at this point. Legitimate ransom request. We've had some information from individuals that turned out not to be who they said they were.
People faking this to try to get money.
That's correct, or get some notoriety. The other aspect regarding the reward, the mayor announced a $10,000 reward. And that is good, and if the people would call those numbers, anybody with information that will lead to this solution of this crime and apprehension of the suspect or recovery of Elizabeth, then that reward will be considered.
To what extent are the federal agencies involved?
We have the FBI involved in all of their resources. They have been with us since the beginning. They're early this morning, and we have used their resources both here and back in their headquarters.
Anything you say at all about who might be behind this?
Not at this time. At this point, we are tracking down some leads, but we're hopeful that through this news conference that we'll pick up some additional leads.
Can you say who you've ruled out?
No, not at this time.
No idea. Detectives talked earlier about a critical 2-hour window. Can you talk to us about that?
Excuse me just a minute. I'm sorry.
I'd like to say something directly.
Okay. You know, if you could hold your question, Mr. Smart would like to come up for a minute to say something to the perpetrator.
You know, if you can hear me, Elizabeth is the sweetest girl. She's an angel. And I hope that there's no reason to take her. I can't imagine why you took her to begin with. I want to thank everyone who has helped in this search. I'm just so grateful. And my wife, as she would be here, but she's having a very hard time with it. And I would just appreciate it if you have got her to please let her go. Please. I mean, she doesn't do anything to anyone, and there's no reason that you should have her. Please let her go, please.
Chief,
similarities? There was a report of another either abduction or attempted abduction 10 years ago. Do you see similarities between that incident and this one?
We're looking at all similarities from past cases or situations, and we're looking at potential suspects. I mean, we are looking at everything that could possibly be related to this or a possible suspect attached to it. So we're not ruling anything out.
Chief, we've heard that your detectives were looking at a computer or computers in the home to see if perhaps there'd been some contact with a stranger through chat rooms or whatnot. Has that turned up anything for your investigators yet?
Well, at this point, all I could say is it doesn't appear that she would have used a computer in that fashion. However, again, we're going to look at everything, and certainly that's one part of it.
Chief, should neighbors be concerned here, or is this a random act? What do you have to say to the community? Should they be locking up?
Well, it's hard to say, and we're really trying to get the definition of this situation. It appears that we certainly have a clear case of abduction from a home during the middle of the night. I don't want the community to panic. I think they should be just as alert and just as cautious as they always are, and certainly report anything suspicious that they see. And those numbers that I gave would be good numbers to use in order to report that. I guess the caution is until we solve this case, we're going, the community needs to be alert and help us be the eyes and ears out there to help us solve it.
Chief, does it appear to you that Elizabeth was targeted?
Well, we're not sure at this point. That certainly is a possibility, and we're not excluding that.
Was there any indication, though, why this house on the block, why her, not her sister, anything at all to say, was this random, or was she the target?
Well, at this point, we're not. Our impression is it's not random. We don't believe it was random, but again, we are very much at the beginning of this investigation and trying to put the pieces together. But that would be our best guess at this point.
Any connection to the Oregon abductions? Have you guys looked into that?
Yes. Well, we have looked into the Oregon abductions. We are aware of those abductions, and we are considering that as a possible connection. But we have not in any way tied those to this incident.
Chief, what about communication with surrounding states as far as the search goes? Have they been notified, and what is the role they're playing?
Yes, we have notified them through the federal agencies that those all points bulletins have gone out.
Earlier, your department said that it had been expanded to southeast Idaho and southwest Wyoming. Why those two particular areas?
I would suspect because that's the closest to the state, the most accessible, and they'll be the first place in that period of time that she may have gone to. This obviously is something that we can't say for sure how far it could reach or how far the abduction could go. So, we're going to extend it as far as we need to.
What do you do next, Chief? What do your officers do next?
Right now, it's just good old detective work, following up on leads, and some would say beating the bushes to find this culprit.
How long will you stay in the foothills? Do you feel convinced he's in a car taking off, or are you going to continue searching up there?
Well, we've searched these hills around here fairly thoroughly all day today, and we're fairly comfortable that for the areas that we've searched, that we don't have any evidence of the crime here, but I'm not going to exclude the fact we might not come back.
Chief, any progress on the getaway car? Any developments there?
No, we have very little information on a possible car at all, but we're still looking for more information on that possibility that there is a car involved.
Any clues of people that you want to search out right now that perhaps were in the vicinity at 2 o'clock, 2:30 this morning?
We've done a lot of that already. We have done a lot of that. We have contacted several people who have been in the vicinity, not necessarily as suspects, but people could be witnesses, and we have continued to do that throughout the day.
Chief, when you say you have an indication that it's not random, what leads you to that indication?
Well, when I say it's not random, I'm saying it took this young girl, absent a sleeping sister. And so randomness is certainly a possibility, and one of the ones that we're considering, and a lack of randomness is another possibility. So we haven't narrowed it down to exactly what we think this suspect was doing, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in the near future.
Are you able to clarify where the suspect entered and where the suspect left the home?
We have a possible point of entry in the house. I'm not going to comment on where that is, but we do have a possible point of entry.
Does it appear to be a well-planned kidnapping, or?
I guess based on experience, I would say how much planning went into it is unknown at this point. There's no evidence that there was a lot of planning. It's just he managed to get in and he managed to get out with the victim, and that's enough of a plan right now.
Did the security alarm go off? Did the security alarm go off?
I'm not going to comment on that right now.
Chief, any upgrades perhaps on the description of the suspect? Any improvement there?
No, we have no further information than you already have.
Chief, I'm told the house is quite rambling, that if you went in and didn't know your way around, you wouldn't be able to really find your way around.
Well, it is a large house and it has several rooms in it, so...
Leads you to believe the suspect knew where he was going?
Well, we don't know how long the suspect was in the house before he went into the room where the victim was located, so I think that's speculation at this point.
How many children were sleeping in the home last night, Chief?
To my knowledge, all the children were there, and I don't know the exact six children.
How is this 9-year-old girl? How is she coping? How is she doing? Can you address that, or perhaps?
She's very brave lady, and she's doing very well.
But it seems very early on that you guys ruled out family members of any sort. It seems the reports earlier were that family members were.
We have no reason to believe at this time that any family members are involved.
And is that completely based on the story of the 9-year-old or other evidence that you found?
That's based on the investigation to this time frame.
Is there a security system at the house?
I'm not going to comment on that right now. No.
And did any of the other kids hear anything besides the 9-year-old?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that. I don't think that's something that we should be talking about. Anything else?
Mr. Smart, would you take another question, or are you finished? You comment on your daughter's resourcefulness and how she might be coping with
She is a harp player. She has very strong hands, and she is quick. I am praying that will be to her advantage. She was just, we went to a Bryant Junior High awards ceremony last night and came home, and the East track coach had asked her if she wanted to be on, and she had went out running with my daughter a couple of times, and so I think she's very smart and very resourceful, and I'm hoping that that's going to help.
Do you have any known enemies, sir?
I don't know of anyone that I have offended. That I have been thinking and thinking and thinking. I just don't know of anyone that I have crossed or caused a problem with.
Mr. Smart, your employees, co-workers, the whole community has rallied to support you. How do you feel about that?
I can't thank them enough. I got calls this morning from several of them, and I want to thank you all for your help. I can't thank you enough. I know it's going to take everyone's effort to find her and bring her back to us. And I just really want to thank everyone who's been out there handing out flyers and combing the area. I really, really appreciate it. I want to thank you.
Mr. Smart, how is your daughter doing, your 9-year-old daughter doing?
Yeah, amazingly well. Amazingly well. I can't believe she's doing so well.
One thing the family has asked is, we've had a lot of help with people on the internet posting her photo and everything like that, and we've really posted things all the way from Ogden down to Provo. But if any of the news media, if we're thinking of trying to work out a button to put on people's websites so people can download posters and put them in places, because it's just impossible to get everywhere. And we kind of think that we have a small window here, and it would be really important for people to do that. And I think that KSL has them, and I think the other stations, Channel 2 and Channel 4, may have them. But that's one of the things that would really be beneficial, that people can see that picture of that beautiful girl and get that out.
Okay, if there's no other questions, then thank you very much.
You heard it, an emotional plea from Elizabeth's father, Edward Smart, asking whomever may have abducted his daughter to let her go, let her go. Also a request from his brother for all of the public to post her picture on the internet and get that picture across as many states as possible. The mayor, Rocky Anderson, said here earlier that police are taking extraordinary measures to find Elizabeth. Police will not stop the search, they say, until they find her. And the mayor has offered a $10,000 reward for Elizabeth's safe return. Chief Rick Dinsey with Salt Lake City Police said that they have committed all resources to finding Elizabeth. You can see behind me that there are media from all over the United States, from New York to San Francisco, many concerned about Elizabeth's fate. Reporting live from this Federal Heights neighborhood, I'm Stacey Butler. Now back to you.
Thank you, Stacey. An extraordinary news conference, and it's been an extraordinary search effort. Hundreds of people have been looking for Elizabeth Smart, most all of them volunteers.
News specialist Jill Atwood picks up that part of the story.
Deanie and Bruce, we are live in the foothills of Federal Heights. This area you see behind me is one of the areas that has been extensively searched. Crews have been up and down this road all day long. Let me give you an idea of just how thorough this search is. Down right here, police have been keeping track of these fresh tire tracks. Now, they're suspicious of these tracks because no vehicles are allowed up in this area. Now, they have no idea whether these tracks are related to the case, but as you just heard, they cannot rule anything out.
Copy. All right. So where have you guys been?
So much ground to cover, so many questions to ask, but police and volunteers are doing it. And they'll keep doing it over and over if they have to.
As soon as we hear anything, we'll let you folks know.
They're looking in the foothills, they're scouring backyards, they're going door to door.
We didn't see anything.
Okay.
Looked around the backyard. There's nothing.
They're also standing guard over potential evidence.
We've got some tracks that go up there. You can see it's a no vehicles area. And there are some tracks that look like they could be relatively fresh.
We basically want to rule out, everything, everyone, and every area, so we can narrow down our crime scene. It makes it a lot easier to search.
That's the place you want them, at home, and safe and sound, and it's sad to think that could happen.
Friends and neighbors coordinated their own search efforts, grabbing water bottles and hitting the foothills as well. Elizabeth's younger friends seem to be taking it pretty hard, and the more time that passes, the more anxious they become.
It's been a long time. It can go a long way. It's kind of sad and scary.
As for other parents in the neighborhood,
we've been searching the hills all morning, and now we're going to go back down and see if we can look somewhere else. So.
Do you know the family?
I don't know the family at all. I just have a little girl that's 12, so I just want to do something.
So an extremely tough search here, as you just heard in that news conference. There are so few leads. You talk to search and rescue people today, and they're like, where do you begin? We can't rule anything out. I can tell you one thing, though. Be hard-pressed to get anyone off these foothills tonight. The search and rescue will continue well into the night, and, of course, we're going to continue to bring you live updates. Bruce, Deanie, back to you.
Thank you, Jill.
And Eyewitness News will continue after these commercial announcements.
You're watching KSL 5. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 6.
Nobody can believe that this is actually happening.
I think everyone's just sick.
This is just a beautiful, angelic little girl.
She's 14 and missing, kidnapped at gunpoint from her own bedroom in an affluent Salt Lake City neighborhood. Police and an army of volunteers have been looking frantically for Elizabeth Smart and the man who took her all day. The search has spread across at least 3 states, and the news of her kidnapping has already spread across the nation. Good evening, I'm Dick Norse.
And I'm Bruce Lindsay. Police say the abduction happened about 2 o'clock this morning in the Arlington Hills area, north of the University of Utah. The missing girl's 9-year-old sister says a man broke into their bedroom, took her sister at gunpoint, and threatened to hurt her if police were called. Because of that fear, the 9-year-old waited 2 hours before telling her parents. Later in the morning, police agencies far and wide were alerted to be on the lookout for Elizabeth Smart. She's 5 feet 6 inches tall, 105 pounds, blonde hair. She was last seen wearing red pajamas.
And hundreds of people are searching for 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart, even going door to door, scouring the foothills and looking in every backyard in Arlington Hills. They're walking, riding, some are driving. There is no sign of letting up either. Police, neighbors, friends, even people who don't know the family want to feel like they're doing something to help. Searchers say the problem with this case is it's tough to know where to start because there are so few leads.
We just basically want to rule out, everything, everyone, and every area, so we can narrow down our crime scene. It makes it a lot easier to search.
Tonight, officers even have some tire tracks roped off that appear to be fresh. Police are suspicious because the tracks lead into an area where vehicles are not allowed.
We have team coverage on this story that is drawing national attention. Stacey Butler has been covering the story all day and joins us live now, where police and family met with reporters within the past hour. Stacey.
Well, Dick, after scouring the foothills in this entire area around the Federal Heights neighborhood, county search and rescue crews have called off the search for now until further notification from the Salt Lake City Police Department. Earlier here tonight at a press conference here on the street where the Smart family lives, Mayor Rocky Anderson announced a $10,000 reward for any information leading to Elizabeth's safe return. And Salt Lake City Police Chief Rick Dinsey said every effort is being made to find Elizabeth and her captor. And Elizabeth's father made an emotional plea to whoever kidnapped his daughter to let her go.
Elizabeth, if you're out there, we're doing everything we possibly can to help you. We love you. We want you to come home safely to us.
If the perpetrator is watching, we want him to know that he will be brought to justice, but that certainly he will fare better if he will demonstrate some semblance of compassion and return this young girl to her family.
At this point in time, we don't have any information that there's no ransom request that we're aware of at this point, legitimate ransom request. We've had some information from individuals that turned out not to be who they said they were.
Sadly, police say that opportunists come out of the woodwork at times like this when families are in crisis. Again, no request for a kidnap ransom has been made, according to police. Now, Elizabeth's father, Edward Smart, is a mortgage broker. He says he has no known enemies. Now, police are asking those who want to help volunteer because the requests have flooded in to search their own neighborhoods and even to do what neighbors in this Federal Heights neighborhood are doing. They're passing out flyers like this. If you want to help, police are urging you to do this in your own neighborhood. Again, 16 hours after Elizabeth disappeared from her Federal Heights home, there has been no sign of her yet, though Salt Lake City police and volunteers will not give up this search. Reporting live from Federal Heights, I'm Stacey Butler. Now back to you.
That search involves indeed hundreds of volunteers.
News specialist Richard Pyatt is live with more on that aspect of the story. Rich.
Well, Dick, you've already felt this. There's so many people who have been touched and frightened by this case already. People who are willing to do almost anything they can to help. And that means getting out themselves and searching areas like neighborhoods and these foothills behind me.
If you see anything or hear anything, tell anybody that knows anything to contact the Salt Lake City Police.
This is just one of more than 1,000 flyers created by Darcy Wallace of Accu Mortgage, meant to help locate the missing 14-year-old. Elizabeth Smart's father, Ed, is a client of the company's. Her kidnapping has turned a business relationship into a personal one.
This is a very valued client of ours, and it is something that we hope, God forbid, if we were in this awful situation, they would be dropping, what they're doing to help us.
This is just one of several versions of homemade flyers, all created in response to this horrifying case. These women are passing out their version in Elizabeth's Federal Heights neighborhood.
You never think of it happening, particularly in your own home. It's scary. It's a frightening thing, so we just want to get her back.
Sitting around all morning not doing anything. This is something, I feel like I'm doing something to help, and I want to help.
Police officers are searching by car, by ATV, and by foot. But that's not stopping dozens of other people from hiking into the foothills themselves.
We just walked up the trail up to Twin Peaks and around the area a little bit back down.
Police have let the neighbors know their efforts sometimes are not needed. But the fear this kidnapping has generated is motivating people to action everywhere.
I just have a little girl that's 12, so I just want to do something rather than nothing.
You get it.
If it were my daughter, I would want anybody helping me.
Obviously, the police are not giving up on this case by any means, and neighbors say they are not giving up either. The thoughts for this little girl are obviously strong right now. Police say overwhelming support for the family is definitely present in this neighborhood tonight. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Rich, thanks.
The only description we have of the suspect is from Elizabeth's 9-year-old sister. She says he is an adult white male, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, and was wearing a light-colored jacket and hat. And once again, here's the 14-year-old girl who is believed to have been abducted. Obviously, if you have any information that may help find her, the Salt Lake City Police Department would like to hear from you. You can contact them locally at 799-3000 or toll-free at 1-800-932-0190.
Once the kidnapping was confirmed, Salt Lake Police issued a Rachel alert patterned after the emergency broadcast system.
Early this morning, television and radio stations throughout Utah broadcast information on this kidnapping. The Rachel alert came out of a tragic incident that occurred 20 years ago.
3-year-old Rachel Runyon was kidnapped in late August of 1982. Immediately, searchers combed the area, but it was too late. Her body was found 2.5 weeks later.
I wish it wasn't my little girl. I wish it wasn't any little girl. But we can't change that story. So what we could do is rally around and make a difference and try to protect our children.
It sounds like a weather advisory, but it is the Rachel alert. After those beeps, a description of the victim and suspect is broadcast. Created just 2 months ago, it was used for the first time for Elizabeth Smart.
The child is younger than 15 years of age. We believe that she is in imminent danger of serious bodily harm or death. We have information that we believe the public can assist us in a safe recovery of the victim and apprehension of the suspect.
In 1992, it was an accomplice of these two men who had second thoughts and helped FBI agents foil an attempted kidnapping on the same street where the Smart house is. The men were planning to kidnap for ransom the children of a bank executive. That kidnapping never took place. The men were arrested. In another section of Federal Heights 2 years ago, a man entered this home through a window. The woman who lived there confronted him. She called a neighbor and the intruder left. Police later caught him and he was sent to a psychiatric unit.
Detectives are following leads on that break-in and others. And the Rachel alert, a first time implemented here, it is also used in 9 other states.
You're watching KSL 5. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 10.
Elizabeth, if you're out there, we're doing everything we possibly can to help you. We love you. We want you to come home safely to us.
A young Salt Lake City girl is taken from her own bedroom in the middle of the night. And while her family waits in agony, an entire community aligns with police in a desperate search for clues. Good evening, I'm Dick Norris.
Hello, I'm Nadine Wimmer. The Edward and Lois Smart family awoke this morning to a nightmare. Now 17 hours later, it continues.
There's been a disturbing lack of clues as to what happened to their 14-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, last seen in red pajamas and in the safety of her own bed. We have live team coverage of this ongoing story tonight.
Ed Yates is live with how the community is reacting. Stacey Butler reports on a prayer service for the family and friends. And John Daly is live with the story of what's become one of the biggest search efforts in memory. John?
Deanie and Dick, it's clear that police are throwing all available resources, everything they've got at trying to find 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart. But at this point, the case is a complete mystery. They have no motives, no suspect, and no idea where she is.
It's surely one of the state's biggest searches ever. Hundreds of police officers from a variety of agencies. In addition, hundreds of volunteers, dogs, bicycle patrols, off-road vehicles, and helicopters looking for 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart. Late this afternoon, her father makes an emotional plea to her abductor for her return.
Elizabeth is the sweetest girl. She's an angel, and I hope that There's no reason to take her. I can't imagine why you took her to begin with.
It all started on an otherwise ordinary June night. According to police, at 2 a.m., Elizabeth Smart is kidnapped at gunpoint when a man forces his way through a window of her home in the affluent Arlington Hills neighborhood near the foothills. The man threatens Elizabeth's 9-year-old sister, telling her that he will harm Elizabeth if she says anything. 4 a.m., 2 hours later, the younger girl tells her parents, who call police. Police begin investigating and searching, and then, a little after 7, they activate the state's emergency alert system. Details go out to the community through local television, radio, and newspapers. That information includes a description. Elizabeth Smart is 5 feet 6 inches, 100 pounds, with blue eyes and straight, long blonde hair. She was wearing red silk pajamas. Based on a description from the only person who saw the man, Elizabeth's sister, the kidnapper is described as a white male with dark hair and wearing a baseball cap.
I would just appreciate it if you have got her to please let her go. Please. Also at the press conference this afternoon, the mayor announced a $10,000 reward for any information leading police to helping them find Elizabeth Smart. Reporting live, I'm John Daly. Dick and Deanie, back to you.
Okay, John, thank you. Even as night falls over this grief-stricken neighborhood, hope among family and friends has not dimmed.
News specialist Stacy Butler is live in that neighborhood with an update.
Dick and Deanie, police and county search crews have called it a night, but family members will not give up this search. In fact, I just learned at this hour that the family is organizing a group of volunteers to resume the search first thing in the morning. Now, earlier this evening in this neighborhood, family, friends, and neighbors attended a prayer service. They prayed to soften the heart of Elizabeth's abductor. Some 300 people attended that meeting, many afraid for their own children's safety, say it was the only thing they felt they could do to help.
Well, it's every parent's nightmare. And we just pray that there will be a good result.
When Elizabeth was abducted, police say her 9-year-old sister, Mary Catherine, who was in the same room, was told by the suspect that if she went to her parents, he'd kill her sister. Tonight, she is in the community's prayers as well.
Mary Catherine's my really good friend, and I know how she feels. And to have her be in that room and have just a guy come and take her sister just seems really scary.
And my sister misses her too. Mary Catherine, we know how sad she is.
Police say they grow more concerned with each passing hour, but even still, they are still hopeful. They say even though that they have called off the search for tonight, they have about 30 detectives back at the station working on close to 100 leads, and they're still taking in phone calls with each passing hour. I spoke with family members. They were just here a few moments ago. They are organizing a search. It's going to start at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning down at Shriners Hospital. They're asking whatever community members would like to volunteer, join them in a 5-mile radius search in this neighborhood up in the foothills, resuming it tomorrow at 7 a.m. If you're interested, bring an ID, they say, and you must be over 18. Reporting live from Arlington Hills, I'm Stacy Butler. Now back to you.
All right, thank you, Stacy. 10 years ago, FBI agents foiled an attempted kidnapping on the same street where the Smarts live.
In 1992, these men were planning to kidnap for ransom the children of a bank executive. But an accomplice contacted the FBI. The kidnapping never took place, and the men were arrested. Then 2 years ago, a man entered another Federal Heights home. The woman who lived there confronted him, and the intruder left. Police later caught the suspect, who was sent to a psychiatric facility.
Neighbors and friends are worried sick about the girl. Emotions were close to the surface as friends learned about the news. At the same time, they're sad and scared.
It's just a shock. We were woken up early at like 5 o'clock, and our neighborhood did a search for all the little kids to make sure everyone was okay. And then my mom told me, just didn't think it would happen here. I hear about it all the time everywhere, but I didn't think it would happen here.
I have hatred toward the guy that did this. It's not fair. So we want to get her back safe and sound.
Many of them spent hours posting and passing out flyers. They shared frustration at feeling helpless and hoped their efforts would in some way help.
Well, while the victim's family is devastated, of course, by the abduction, everyone is affected when a child is taken from the sanctity of their home.
Experts say the psychological reaction can be good or bad. Our team coverage continues with news specialist Ed Yates live in Sandy.
Deanie, following today's incident, neighborhood watch coordinators throughout the valley, including here in Sandy, were notified, as always, to be on the watch, recruit more eyes, be aware of any suspicious activity.
Neighborhood watch teams will still do what they do best, looking for criminal activity before it goes too far, but incidents like the kidnapping kicks everything into gear again. People become more aware, more watchful of their own and others.
I just got a call from somebody in the neighborhood that said, check your kids, make sure they're in bed. Somebody had been kidnapped, and so I ran downstairs, checked, my kids were fine.
A mother's reaction here, especially in the neighborhood where it happened, is normal.
In the fortress of their own inner sanctum that you'd think is impenetrable. And that's the thing that's so upsetting, is that something like this can occur in that kind of environment.
Though the tragedy hits everyone hard, experts caution right now about overreaction.
We're concerned about the possibility that this can happen to anybody at any time in any place. But I think we also have to recognize that where this happened in one home in our whole valley, it didn't happen in 500,000 plus homes.
Be careful, teach your kids about strangers, learn from this tragic experience, beef up neighborhood watch programs. But Jed Erickson with Valley Mental Health cautions, don't push the envelope too far, react within reason, and make sure your children do the same.
I'm not going to go down to the plaza and get an ice cream or a candy bar because I might get kidnapped if I go down there. And that's kind of a crippling form of anxiety that interferes with growth and development and feeling comfortable and being normal.
Again, on the positive side, the more eyes, the better. The experts say if your neighborhood currently does not have a neighborhood watch team and you would like one, contact your local police department or law enforcement agency. Back to you, Dick, Deanie.
All right, thank you, Ed.
Again, the only description we have of the suspect is from Elizabeth's 9-year-old sister. She says the man is an adult, white male, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he was wearing a light-colored jacket and hat. And here again is Elizabeth Smart's picture. Obviously, if you have any information that may help find her, contact the Salt Lake City Police Department at 799-3000 or toll free at 1-800-932-0190. If you'd like to watch the news conference from earlier this evening or download a poster of Elizabeth Smart, visit our website at ksl.com.